Okay, so this is my review for Aquaman. And Aquaman is really good. I don't know how you kind of beat this movie. I really wasn't expecting much from it at all, but it kind of like blew me away. It really shows like that they cared about the movie and it was really well made. Um, I don't know if you ever heard of Aquaman. Most people probably haven't. This might be the first time you're hearing about Aquaman. You kind of heard of like Batman, Superman, Spider Man, all these men, but probably Aquaman's kind of like behind the curtains a bit. And even this is like the first movie I heard of this Aquaman. Um, Unless you're really into the comics and stuff and you follow this, which is what it's based off of this Aquaman comic. Um, all those like Batman and other movies like the Spider-Man and such have been around a while, so this is a huge deal that you got Aquaman coming out, and he comes out big here, and hopefully he's here to stay. But basically, it follows this guy, if you don't know, who's obviously has this power underwater or over water, I guess. He can kind of breathe underwater, and he can see like underwater in the deepest parts of the ocean, and he can like bear the pressure in the deepest parts of the ocean, and not to mention like he can fly underwater. So he doesn't have to swim. I think I don't know what it's called, if it's swimming or if it's flying, because he doesn't really move his arms. He just like rockets, kind of like a plane, like going at the speed of sound. And it sounds like when certain times you just like the rocket fires up and you just hear like a boom, like a son, like that sonic boom hitting the speed of sound or something. But the acting's really good. Apparently, just like looking up Aquaman, I saw really quick that Aquaman's actually this blonde white guy in the books, but here he's this tattooed Polynesian guy. But it's cool. Jason Momoa is this guy who plays Aquaman. He's really likable through the whole thing. He just like seems like this guy you could go and grab a few drinks with at the bar, and he wouldn't really judge you or anything. And it's funny in the movie. There's this part. I don't want to ruin it, but he goes. He goes and he takes like some pictures with some guys at the bar on the phone, and it actually shows you the pictures that he took on the phone in the movie, which is cool. I haven't seen many parts in movies where they actually show you the pictures from the phones if they take pictures. Definitely didn't do that in A Star Is Born. There's a part where there's exactly the same thing. The guys at the bar were trying to take a picture with the main guy, but I don't even know if they got to take a picture in that one. But anyway, back to Aquaman. I think this Jason Momoa, he actually played in this other show I watched. I recognize him. I think it was Stargate SG-1. His name was like this Ronan Dex or something. He was awesome in that. I liked him, so I liked him before I even saw this movie. And then there was this Amber Heard too, who she really like nails the part with her red hair too. And then you got Nicole Kidman in there. She was good. And then just there's a big cast there. There was like a full star cast. They're like all fun to watch and just like doing these like impossible things you wouldn't even think could happen. The visuals might like really blow you away. Kind of looks like this Star Wars, and you got some like the best visuals here. Really seems believable. Whenever you see them, it's just like whatever they do, it's just like that's really cool. It just seems cool with like lasers and stuff going everywhere. I was really surprised how futuristic the movie was with the visuals. I expected like the movie to be like older looking, but it seemed really futuristic. And and the soldiers too, like, just look really cool, and they're fun to even just look at. As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, that's cool the way they look. It looks like they put a lot of thought into it. They're really detailed. Their sounds and too were really cool. And you can't really think of Aquaman 2 if you've seen the trailer without thinking of that classic sound that they put in. It's like dun 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 dun, something like that. I just know it's da 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 da. And the laser sounds too were really cool, like pew pew. I don't know, something like that. Might not sound anything like that at all, but the sounds were solid throughout the whole thing, and it kind of kept you in the movie. Looking back at it, the whole soundtrack was by this Rupert Gregson Williams. It was really well done. If it wasn't for this really good soundtrack, the movie probably wouldn't have worked. There's not really anything like this Aquaman movie, which is really interesting. A lot of the movies underwater, which, like most movies, they don't do something like this where they're underwater. I don't know if it was challenging or not to make underwater, but it's really cool to kind of see certain parts of it, especially where you get like these side shots coming down and you see what's happening like above the water. So like above the ocean, it shows like a ship or something, and then the camera just like dips below the surface and takes you underwater because the camera was above the surface showing you the ship. Then it takes you underwater to see, like, say whatever is below the surface, like fish or whatnot, to see what's happening there. And it's kind of like seeing two worlds at one time. I can't really say much bad about the movie because maybe the script was a little bit light in certain places, and they kind of focused on the action parts maybe too much instead of relationships between the characters, while kind of keeping you glued to the screen with these loud sounds. Some of the lines weren't that funny, but instead of like laughing, it was like kind of funny to see them not be that funny. So it wasn't like bad. Certain areas of the movie might have been too high on CGI, and the movie's like might have been a bit too predictable. But overall, it's a great movie. I highly recommend anyone to go see it. It was like one of the old like Star Wars movies. You have to see this movie, especially if you're maybe a kid. You might even like wish you could talk underwater after seeing this movie. So that's my review for Aquaman. Check out my other videos and subscribe.